I'm gonna get back to that story, Sonny. Just, just you listen to Boomer Great One. He's gonna tell you about how it was back in the olden days, back before fire, back when we walked uphill for everything. In fact, we didn't even have a concept of downhill because there was no downhill. Everything was uphill. We thought that was normal. We didn't even have a word for it because there was no alternative. It was uphill all the time. You just need to reach down and grab yourselves by your bootstraps and pull yourselves up, Sonny. Because when I was your age, I bought a house for $25,000. And I made that money on my paper route and bussing tables at the local cafe. And if I could do it, you can do it too. You just need to reach down and pull yourself up and just buckle up there, buckaroo. God, I hate boomers.
So a while ago, I had an observation. I'm not a video games expert, except now I am a video games expert because just like all the other experts that you see on the boob tube, they just claim to be an expert. Oh my God, they're an expert. Let's have them tell everyone what to think on CNN. So now that I'm a video games expert, the observation I had was all these games were coming out that were woke, especially the past 12 months, not even just 2024 back into 2023. All these horrific games are coming out. And not so much the fact that they're woke and political, there's certainly that too, but they're bad video games too. And they could even come out like Star Wars video games are bad. And so I had to go and educate myself on the video games industry because like movies industry, I don't know what a producer is versus a director. I don't know what a studio is versus the film, whatever, all the credits that roll by at the end that nobody watches. I don't know what that means in theater. And it was kind of a similar thing with video games. So what I found out is that kind of like the publishing industry, sorry, I'm repeating myself from a previous video, but for those of you who are new, like the publishing industry, there's a group of people that would like to make a video game. They form a studio as opposed to an author just writing a book. And then they present that to a publisher, a video game publisher, say the big name like Activision or PlayStation directly, whatever. And say, okay, yeah, we'll fund you. We like this video game idea that you got. You nerds at your video game studio, you program the video game. And I'm sure there's some kind of split profit sharing arrangement or whatever. We'll pay you, fund your budget, and then we'll launch it on our platform or publish it to all the different platforms. So that's kind of my understanding of it. There's the studio, then there's the publisher. And what I couldn't get is once upon finding this, like, well, who programs this shit? Really, who are the people that program it? So then I start looking up studios, especially if the studios were laying off, like layoffs. I'm an economist. I kind of, that's kind of interesting. Why are they laying off? Who are these people? And I started noticing all the individual studios' websites were pretty shit, low quality shit. Fully acknowledge and full disclosure, my website, assholeconsulting.com, is shit. It's worse than their websites. But I'm not a programmer. I'm not a IT guy. I'm an economist. And I taught myself, and it's very apparent, I did this website in one overnight shift. I programmed it, and it looks like a ding ding, here comes the shipmobile type of project. But it works. I'm not a programmer. That's not my expertise. It looks like something an economist would do with no computer background whatsoever. And that confused me. I'm like, how are you're a video game developer. Why is your website such shit? Now, when I did that video and I saw it, like, what's going on here? That's just weird. That's just odd. And I came up with this theory that based on how shitty the developer's website is, you could predict the failure of a video game. And I think Studio A44, if you want to look at another more recent example, I forget which video game A44 did, but I went to A44's website. I'm like, this is okay. They had a new product. I forget which one. It's failing. It's shit. It's okay, fine. Woke trash, fine. And you look at the website, yeah, it's a shit website. So a couple of theories were provided to me by my kind audience. One was that the nerds, the actual intellectual heavyweights. They do programming. They can't be bothered with the website. So they outsource that to Trisha in marketing, who has a marketing degree and goes signs up for Squarespace. Like, oh yeah, yeah, sure, maybe. Another one's like, oh, the studios, they probably give it to their girlfriend or their boyfriend, some kind of nepotism or nepo baby or cronyism is taking place there. So once again, the real nerds, the powerhouses, they got to do the video game. They don't have time to deal with the website. But then another guy had a real interesting theory. And he said, hey, do you remember in the .com days that you talk about talking to me, where I talked about working for a company where the owner, the CEO, was just fleecing investors for vaporware or a product that really never existed? And he's saying it's the same thing, but with ESG money. So let's go back now in economic history with Cappy. Recessions, unemployment, inflation, debts, economic history. So back in the late 90s, you had the dot-com bubble. I was working at a tech company, not technically not .com, but it was a software company. I probably could say which because it got sued into oblivion. Charges were brought up against the CEO is gone. The guy's changed his name. So here I am. I was working for this firm, and I could not for the life of me figure out how this company was making money. The leadership was criminal in hindsight now, and legit. They were criminal. And what they did is they acted like they had this product. They did have some nerds who programmed the product. There was software. Okay, so there was a product. But all this guy did was wheel and deal on the financing, getting financiers and capital funding and all that. And made sure, because I was a finance guy, I saw the salaries, made sure to pay him and his brother $500,000 apiece and some other buddies, some executive types, at least $200,000, which back in the 90s was a lot of money. Well, it still is today, but it was even more so back then. And I started to realize, I didn't work for that firm long and quit and left, but it did continue on until the dot-com bubble crashed, where all you saw, and that was small potatoes. That was small potatoes. $500,000 for a salary for a CEO. That was very common back in the dot-com days, where you had stupid investment bankers, stupid venture capital types, stupid private equity types, finance bros, who just got hoodwinked because you put an E in front of their name. They want to get on the internet bandwagon, get on that information superhighway. And they would just flood to the tune of over $1 trillion, $1.6 trillion, I believe, telecommunications and internet. And whereas some people might have actually had a legitimate, honest idea and wanted to make a good go at it, some more particularly savvy people would create a good sounding company and just become president and CEO of a company with the sole purpose of just fleecing the investors and not even intellectually to say, well, this is a startup. We don't know if we're going to make the money, but we put an I in front of our name. I pet food. Oh my God, it's good. They're going on that internet thing. And so they'd fund these people to the tune of several $1 million. The executive team would make off like bandits as long as they could keep the facade up for 2 to 3, maybe 5 years. If you're paid $500,000 for $2.5 million, gross. You're set for life. You're set for life. And all you got to do is make it look like there's a company running. And so I remember all the employees like, what? You can't run a fake company without there being some kind of stress on people who are asked to do things and then giving immediately countermanded orders, contradictory orders. It won't make sense. Just like, but you wanted this, now you want this. There's no focus. It's always busy work. Kind of an elaborate boiler room movie version, but IT or .com. Anyway, this guy said it's the same thing as when you were in a .com, where instead of stupid, dumb, naive investment banker and venture capital money coming in from dude bras, albeit boomer bras back in those days. Now it's just ESG money coming from BlackRock or Vanguard or whoever, or in private individuals as well, because there's those who insist on ESG, but then there's also people who offer ESG products. Do you want to invest in ESG? And all the liberal, rich trophy wife women are like, yeah, I tell them, oh my God, yeah, I do. And then they say, oh, here it is. It's environmental, or frogs fart, clean air and whatever other, environmentally conscious. Those were a fun back in the day. There's a demand for investment products that are socially conscious in one way or another, whether it's the environment, ESG. So there's private money. I would speculate there's certainly some government money involved. And what the guy pointed out is like, these people are in it to get that money and run. And it completely explains the phenomena of what we're seeing, why there's always these woke games and they never make money. It may not be true, but it explains everything. And it's hard to prove truth, but boy, it's really coincidental where, okay, we're a bunch of shitbag douche canoes. We're thieves. We're thieves. It could be Republicans or conservatives. You don't care. You're just thieves, right? Well, we got to make some money without working hard. And all these dupes, all these rubes and yokels are going to send us $1 million or $2 million or $10 million, depending on how big the project is, if we make woke trash. So if there's a political message, whatever it might be, we are going to then qualify for this ESG funding. We pay ourselves a handsome salary. The game flops. The studio fires everyone. Everyone's laid off. The studio closes. But what the fuck do we care as executives? We pay it ourselves very handsomely, very well off. And that's exactly what happened with the company that I worked for. And I got to imagine it's the same thing, because if your goal is just to get the ESG money and run, you got to create some kind of fake, okay, we got to make a product. We have to deliver a product. But we're not going to fund it fully. We're going to take all the money ourselves, as much as we can. Okay, we'll pay the nerds enough money to create a product. Okay, all right, it was a white guy, now turn it into a black female. It was a black female, now turn it into a white guy. All right, somebody's gay, someone's in a wheelchair, whatever. Put a stupid coat of paint on it. Get your ESG money. And then who the fuck gives a shit after you paid yourself $1.5 million for 2 years of managing a bogus company? You publish it. Oh, we're laying everybody off. I'm like, damn, he's probably right. And what the important question this asks is, you say, why? A lot of people are logically, well, they keep losing money. You say, well, why do they keep making woke games if they lose money? Now, that's a great question for Disney, because they're mostly using their own money. Maybe they're getting ESG money. I don't know. I did an analysis where I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. You might have gotten some favorable financing or a little bit of ESG money, but your losses are so massive. Like, you've cost the company $1 billion last year. So I think they might actually change their tune a little bit. But for these little fly-by-night studios with the shitty websites, because why program a website when you don't plan on being around all that long? Yeah, that makes complete sense. And it's going to continue, because as long as there's the money, the ESG money, like, oh, we'll fund your company. We'll give you a couple $1 million. We'll do that. Here's the thing. It doesn't even have to be give them. It's not like government charity, although it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if government was taking taxpayer money and just, oh, here you go. Make a video game that makes white men the villain again. But I could see whatever. It's not, confuse BlackRock and Blackstone. I think it's BlackRock. I forget or Vanguard, where, okay, we'll lend money. That's very common. We'll lend money. Maybe we'll do equity investment as a shareholder. The executive team don't give a shit. They got the money. They spend it on their salaries. We failed. Oh, looks like we got to shut it down. We're bankrupt. Too bad for you, sucker. Whichever of the larger investment group or equity investment groups invested venture capital, invested the money into it. Now, again, I don't know. What was the one? They own It's not IT related, but there's a venture capital group that owns a Canadian airline, and the venture capital group was starting to face financial troubles. I'm sure Disney, with the profitability or the underlying profitability of their theme parks, they can run political propagandist horseshit all they want. They can afford it. The venture capital firms, not all of them have the deep pockets of Vanguard or BlackRock or Blackstone, whichever one it is. But these companies probably do want a rate of return on their money. And I think it's just genius where thieves are coming in theory, I could be wrong. I don't know their true motives, but thieves are coming in like, oh yeah, we're totally totes McGoats down with the peeps, y'all. Look at this. We changed the protagonist to a Hispanic Jewish female. Oh, and the bad guy, straight white guy again, of course. And it's got an edgy thing and it's down with the kill. Look at how, whoa, we have, look, a not white programming person in our staff. Isn't that? Give us the money. They get the money. Explains why the games are shit too. Not that they're just woke, but the games are also poor. They're bad games. And then, but until the people who control the money say, this is stupid, we're getting fleeced, we're not making money, until they cut off the funding, woke games are going to continue. Because it's the new greatest thing. Now, AI is the new hip thing that the corporate executive men just go to like penguins watching a laser light on a wall. So until the fad ends, until someone at the higher up at the financing firm say, we're not giving you money for woke shit no more. It's got to be a good game. In which case these thieves and woke people say, oh, well, we don't really have talent or ability or the work ethic to make a good game. They're not going to, but if they keep funding, if they keep making games, they're going to come out. And the latest one to drop was Dustborn. This, they've been reviewing this and it's stupid woke, like so on the nose woke, I guess. People are reviewing it now. And I went to the website, trying my theory. The developers are called Quantic Dream, and I guess it's a French it's a French company. And in their defense, the website looks way more professional or significantly more professional than what I've seen otherwise. But then they got Our Team, and I always like to go to Our Team to see how much people talk about themselves. And man, they talk a lot about themselves. It's long and lengthy. And God, what is that? A 10-question interview. Usually when you have the about economist turned internet podcasting person from Milwaukee. Okay, it's short, sweet, I wonder if it's like a pride project or an ego project. There's only 6 of these people. I said, I'll meet other team members here. Introduce yourself. I'll grant you this. Okay, I'll grant you this. These people are doing normal poses. It looks more legit of a studio than what I've seen before. But a lot of these studios, they're all doing funny poses like the 13-year-olds they are mentally. This one seems a little bit more legit, but I'm kind of like, well, how much money were you given to waste on this? I think they're all French. All French studio. Anyway, so this is the latest woke game. I mean, they're coming out so fast. Again, I love the guy's theory because it really does explain everything. They're coming out all the time. I'm not a video game developer. I don't know how quick it is you could turn around a shit game. There was the guys that they were what? They were Russian born, living in Singapore, and they hoodwinked everyone out of millions of dollars of investment. It was a big scam. It's just the funding comes from ESG this time. There's always been scammy Kickstarters where they run off with the money. It's kind of like that, but the Kickstarting money comes from ESG. Well, I hope you all got your money. I would like to wait for BlackRock, Blackstone, Vanguard, whoever's financing, all you private investment, do bras, fintech bros. dude, it's environmentally clean, man. Go ahead, waste your investors' money. I don't care. But for those of us who are like hoping someday there might be some good video games coming, I wouldn't hold your breath. It will continue to last as long as there is money being paid into ESG, and the games are almost guaranteed to be shit. It is possible you'd have talented people who actually do care about a good video game and they're real nerds and the real, I hate to use the word, but they're actually passionate about it. And maybe they have a leftist bend. And so they happen to make a Hispanic female quadriplegic protagonist hero. Okay, fine. But the game could still be good. And I think Hogwarts Legacy is kind of like that. But these shit fly by night kind of this week in woke video games, almost as frequently as they come out with an Assassin's Creed, this is going to, I don't see an end. The corporate heads, the finance guys, you got to understand MBAs. They're simple-minded creatures. They're very dumb, and popularity is all the rage about them. So they have to, maybe AI will take away from them. Maybe the money will start to be invested into AI because AI is hot. It's hot now. It's hot. Is it profitable? Oh, fuck no, but it's hot. Well, that's good enough for me. Let's spend a couple $1 trillion there. No reason to invest in housing for young people nowadays. It's AI. So as long as the fad continues, you're going to continue to see these just horrifically bad shit woke games because the money's there. And man, I don't know. Maybe these large investment firms or even maybe they don't care. Maybe just I want to get, could be like Kathleen Kennedy. I don't give a shit if it's going to lose money. I want to make a political statement. And then force shit, crap, Marxist, hate-filled games on you kids. Oh, I think I'll just play Red Dead Redemption again. All right. Link below is a link to all my stuff. There's books. There's courses, all of which, if you're new to the channel, is like finance, kind of investing, get the fuck out from underneath your employer type of shit. There's my Amazon affiliate link and a link to the Road Trip podcast through Subscribestar. Ken has $2. Thank you, Ken. JJG has $2 Canadian. I want to go gold and off-grid more and more. Yeah, do it. You should. Get a really good solar panels, water system, make your money. I know it sounds boring, but buy all the toothpaste you're going to need in your life so you can buy it now. And then you're like, nah, I'm done. What are you doing? I'm brushing my teeth. WizDivision Productions, $5. In positive news, Darksiders 4 announcement dropped today. Highly recommend you check out Darksiders 1 and 2, both solid games that hold. All right, now is this one of these idiotic, if you don't exactly time it right, I die games? I'm not. I got work to do, man. All right, Darksiders. I'm going to write that down. Hang on. Darksiders. Okay. All right. Thank you, Wiz. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. When you guys recommended Ghost of Tsushima and God of War, spectacular recommendations. 5N4K, $2. Are game journals in on the grift or useful? They're totally in on the grift. Well, they're also what few remain because they've been replaced with technology. YouTube reviewers do it. And people play video, $70 a game, and you're younger typically, that's a lot of money. I think younger people, Democrat or not, Republican or not, leftist or not, they get pissed when they get a shit game and they spend $70 of their hard-earned money on it. And so since Gamergate 1 and Gamergate 2 now came along and you're finding out they are paid by, this is more movies than it would be video games, but certainly video games as well. They're just paid. They're paid shills, but no one follows them. I mean, go look at Kotaku's Twitter account. It's got over 1 million subscribers, but their interaction, they get maybe one comment per post they got. It's dead. The industry is dead. I think people got sick and tired of being screwed over and lied to about shitty video games. They're also useful dupes, but the journals are going to go to where the money is because, and what's her name? Mercantis. She's a gal, and you could just tell, man, she will do anything to not work a real job. She will, she'll write a positive review about your Marxist leftist video games, and then she'll also write articles about how everyone is a racist, sexist, hate-filled Nazi if you don't like this video game. Because she was, I don't just look. Really, just go look at her. This is not someone who's going to take my course on the world's greatest accounting career and, get a skill people really want. There's a place for people like her, and maybe she has her dream job, but I don't know anyone aside from her that's left because they keep laying off everybody. Wisdom, $5, but that's just a theory, a Cappy theory. Thanks for watching. It is a theory. I could be completely wrong, Wisdom. You're right, but it's the only one I've heard that explains all the phenomena I'm seeing. MR22V, because it doesn't make. Why would you keep losing money? Because it's not your money to lose. That's what it is. The investor's money to lose, and you pay yourself a nice big fat executive salary on top of it. I feel bad for the programmers because they think they're working on some important project, and no. That's the way it was in the company that I worked for. Control is more important than money and profits. I think for some of the ideologues, like then you get your consultancy companies like Sweet Baby and whatever else comes in, and that obviously they make their money there. For some people like Kathleen Kennedy, the control is more important than the money and the profits. Absolutely. So for the creatives and the political ideologues or the politically motivated, that's way more important than the money and the profit. But I will say this whole narrative consulting shit that they got going on, where basically you're a bunch of liberal arts majoring dipshits. You just happen to be born with a disadvantaged group skin color or gender or trait or whatever. We set up a consulting company to make sure you comply and you're good and you're woke and you're ESG and da-da-da. And here's our stamp of approval. And that might approve them for ESG funding and financing. All that shit is going away. I hope they're saving their money because inevitably people are going to be like, no, we're not funding this anymore. It's not happening. I don't think you'll ever see a resurgence. I'm wondering where the video game developers, like the nerds, the ones who actually do the work, like, why can't you all just create a game? Why can't you just create a game? You don't need. Look, do you need me to head up your studio? I'll provide consulting. I don't want no president CEO shit. All right, because you don't need it. You don't need white collar workers. You just need you programmers. That's all. And I'll kind of, okay, well, you go talk to that person and you market to these people. Just go make a good video game. You don't need MBAs or DEI consultants. Make a good game. And then Karen and HR can go fuck a pine tree for all we care. Daniel Davis, $5. Games these days take up to 6 years to make. Got to be a while before this turns around. They're kind of stuck at sea. Right. You a good point, Dan. There's also a ton. Nice car, by the way. What is that? Camaro? Can't see it. There is a lot already stuck in the pipeline. And so it's going to be a while. I mean, Disney kind of had that too. Well, we got to finish the Acolyte. I mean, no, you didn't. The new Iron Man who's a black female. Oh, edgy. They're trying to figure what. And then the new Captain America, not white Captain America, black Captain America. It's so ridiculous. You sound stupid saying it. I was like, no, they're stupid for doing it. That one, they had to go through with that. And that's up to a $400 million budget. I mean, don't build no houses for nobody. Don't contribute money and fund a trade school to help poor people or young people build their own. Don't do none of that. No, put a different coat of paint, swap out, race swap, gender swap. There you go. That's really going to help disadvantaged groups. Hey, look, we made someone a black man. Listen to that, man. Look at that. That'll put food on your table, won't it? Yeah, that'll get you a job, right? Right? Look, we got rid of the white. We made the white guy the enemy. Huh? I bet you that helps you down there in the barrio or the ghetto, right? Yeah? Listen up, she. We're going to get rid of all the white guys. That'll help out the poor people. A universal coordinate, 31 generous Australian dollars. Oddly, I've never come across a high a high IQ, high net worth, woke individual. So I struggle to understand why they market to these people. It's like Perkins with no silk pie. It's useless. Here's where you need to understand the world of corporate management. Okay. Without going into too deep of a dive, you get ahead in large bureaucratic organizations, corporations, by conforming, not performing. Your IQ is about a 105. You're not going to be intelligent. However, because you're obedient and you conform, those people reach the top. It also helps if you're Machiavellian and you have no soul. Doesn't mean you're smart, but you're opportunistic and you have no morals and you can lay people off and you're fine with it just to get ahead. People with an MBA or people with an IQ of like 103, 104 who have the ability to get along, they're very good at being popular. And so, just like it was really cool to wear Air Jordans in 1989, all right, in middle school, it's the exact same mentality as these people 40 years later who are 50, who now have to utter out AI, woke, DEI, ESG. And if you don't believe me, go look at any, and I used to have these back in the day. I don't think they do these anymore. But go look at corporate management books, not for universities, but for publicly published ones. It was all the latest buzzwords and shit. It's kind of like, imagine if you were dumb enough to believe that Myers-Briggs was a thing and had predictive value. It's popular, it's fun, it's edgy, it's not practical. Those are the people who get in charge. So it's very easy to sell them, hey, you know what? The kids really like trans lesbians in wheelchairs. That's all the rage among the kids. It's DEI. And anytime you mention an acronym, and MBA jizzes is short, it's like, oh, an acronym I never heard. Get out of that. And then they announce layoffs of 25% of their staff next year when the product doesn't do that. Yeah, there's such a tremendous disconnect from these people and the normal rank and file people who just want a good movie or a good video game. Yeah, it's especially the creatives. They're just Wiz Division Productions, $5. Darksiders 1 and 2 are basically God of War mixed with Zelda and Metroid gameplay mechanics. Okay, that sounds good. Also, some of the best voice acting in gaming too. All right. Wisdy again for $2. I'll pay for a review of both games if you like them. Okay, deal. I mean, you don't, because I got your silver coin right here. Still got it on my desk right there. I haven't forgotten it. So I'll give you a huge discount. JJJS, 2 Canadian. The 18% man tax coffee shop is bankrupt. Yeah, well, they always try and do that. They, anytime they try and do like a Marxist food co-op, there's a handful, if not a dozen stories like that where the employees owned it and there were no bosses and, pay you what you think you owe type of shit. Oh yeah. It's great when you see socialists implement their socialist system on a small microscopic thing like a coffee store and that fails. They're like, oh, and you want to run an entire country. Fuck off. MR 220 volts 5. You can also be unprofitable and have a high IQ. Wait, you can also be unprofitable and have a high market cap because you're a growth stock. Oh yeah, that was .coms. That was big tech very recently. Opens the door for a lot of this. Yes, low interest rates also allowed for that. This is where you have like, okay, so today working at Facebook, I woke up and had snails sucking my toes. It's a treatment in San Francisco. Only the super elite get to do it. And now I'm going to work and I got myself a brainer. That's all $2. World of Warships is a good game. Okay, I'll have to try that. And Nelson Rivera, new guy, 20 generous bucks. I think you're new, right? No, I don't remember the name. $20 PSA to all gamers out there. Last I checked, I know for a fact you have a back catalog of games. You don't have to buy the latest and greatest because it's being showed that it's not that great. Yeah. I'm not a big Steam player, but I know there was some statistic out there. A significant percentage of games people buy, they never play. And the games I've been playing are all PS4 era games. I think The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Is that even PS3 maybe or Xbox 360? I bought that at GameStop. Yeah, I won't buy a AAA game today, and rarely did I do it back in the past. I just don't have the time to waste I don't have my time to go buy a game that sucks. And I hate to say it, I hate to draw this analogy, just like dating's kind of a desert for your younger generation, so is the video games going for, and the movies. My God, the 80s. I was sitting there thinking like the 80s. So you had a run where you had like Rambo, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, Top Gun, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, like all these amazing Goonies, all these great movies for young people, kids as well. And oh God, I'm sorry, man. Like you don't got your Ghostbusters. You ain't got your Ivan Reitman. All it is remakes and prequels and sequels. Like you don't have your own legends. You don't have your own heroes to look up to. Dragging poor Harrison Ford out to Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Kuantaha with Phoebe something Bridge. What happened to her? All right, that's it. What do we got? Link below, just links things and stuff. We'll see you guys later, Toodles.